Once upon a time, there lived a king. He had a son whose name was Prince Qasim, who lived with him in his castle. One day, there was a problem in the kingdom. The people were complaining about a fungus that was destroying their crops. The king was very concerned about this because he knew that if there was no food, the people in the kingdom would starve. The king tried everything he could. He tried tilling the soil. He tried watering the crops. He even tried planting more seeds throughout the kingdom. But still, this mysterious fungus did not allow the crops to grow. As time went by, the people started protesting to the king, and even stole food from their neighbors. Then they gathered in front of the king's castle and started demanding that the king do something. The people began to shout and yell at the king. Then they started tipping over carts and throwing rocks at the king's castle. This made the king very concerned. Then, to his surprise, he saw his son, Prince Qasim, along with some of the knights standing before the crowd. His son was at the castle gates talking to the people.
Stop this right now! Go back home and try to help solve this problem by helping one another, and stop stealing from your neighbors.
The king was very surprised of what his son Prince Qasim had done. He saw the courage of a young lion and the wisdom of a noble knight. Yes, he was very proud of his son. The people then began to go back home and took their families with them. The king was very concerned and knew he had to do something fast. Then, one day, the king called his son to him. "You will one day become king, but for now, I need you to help me." The little prince was very confused.
How can I, a little boy, help you, father, when you're the king?
"You must find another kingdom and build a castle there, so they can plant new farms and raise new crops to feed the hungry people." Prince Qasim was very excited and happy because now he had a chance to do something for his father. The following week, Prince Qasim set sail on his journey to find a new kingdom and build a castle for his father. This was the moment he was waiting for, to prove to himself that he can be a king, but also to make his father proud of him. He was very hopeful to find a land far off on the horizon in which he could make new farms and plant crops to help his father, but also to help his fellow countrymen who were in desperate need of food. Then, finally, after a week of sailing across the sea, a crewman spotted land. "Prince Qasim! Land! Land ahead!" The prince was very happy and relieved because he too, along with his crewmen, were very tired of the long voyage. They landed on a long coastline, and Prince Qasim took the first boat to shore with some of his knights. He then looked across the land and saw how beautiful the land was. Green fields, along with the beautiful flowers and the soft rolling hills, green with grass.
This is where I will build my kingdom.
He and his noble knights knelt down and thanked the Lord for giving them such a beautiful and wonderful land in which to plant their new crops. Prince Chasm did not waste any time. He told his men to gather enough food for them to eat and to start building his castle and his new kingdom. For days, they had been working to build small shacks to live in and tilling the soil to start planting the crops. Later, they noticed how fast and wonderful the crops grew. Prince Chasm never saw such abundance of food in such a short time. He then wrote a letter to his father, stating that he has found a wonderful land in which to make his kingdom. One of his ships sailed back to his father with the letter. Prince Chasm knew his father would be coming one day to look over his new land. So he wasted no time to build his castle and farm his crops. As the days went by, Prince Chasm was very happy to see such progress go by so fast, especially with the abundance of the new crops in which he would be sending back to help feed his fellow countrymen, but also of his new castle, which he built to please his father. A day later, a little Indian boy by the name of Little Bow was out hunting. He was a very good hunter and loved to explore. Suddenly, Little Bow notices the castle Prince Chasm had built. He looked around and noticed strange people on a large farm picking crops. Little Bow was very surprised of what he saw. He noticed that these people were strangers, and he had never seen them before. Little Bow then became very angry at the strangers who have come on his land and are now taking away the food without him knowing. He then goes out to confront the strangers. Little Bow, a tiny Indian boy, but very brave, stands in front of the strangers.
Get off the land!
The sailors who are picking the crops are very surprised to see this tiny Indian boy. Prince Chasm is also very surprised, not knowing that there were other people on the land. He then notices that Little Bow is stomping and yelling at him and his sailors. Little Bow then takes out a bow and shoots it towards Prince Chasm, who is standing on a small hill nearby. The arrow lands between Prince Chasm's feet. Little Bow, very angered, runs back to his tribe and to his father, the chief. He runs past all the others and straight to his father, who is sitting in his teepee.
Father!
Calm down, Little Bow. What is the problem?
They have taken away all the food.
Who has taken the food?
The strangers.
What strangers? What are you talking about?
The strangers who came with big ships.
Show me where are these strangers, and I will go there.
If you go to the strangers, then I must go with you.
Yes, you are my son. You will come with me. Then Little Bow and his father gather all the warriors. They start putting on their war paint and prepare to meet the strangers. As As the chief gathers his warriors, he notices Little Bo putting on his war paint. "You are a brave little warrior. One day you will be chief." Little Bo is very surprised, and then hugs his father, for now he knows not only will he be chief, but he must now make his father proud of him. Later that day, Prince Qasim and his sailors are gathering up the harvest and loading them on the ships to get ready to sail back home, where their countrymen are in a desperate situation. Then, to their surprise, they see the great chief riding out of the woods with many of his warriors, but also with Little Bo riding alongside his father.
"There, father. There are the strangers."
The chief looks out at the strangers and is surprised to see so many of them, but also the ships that they had come along with. Prince Qasim is staring at the chief and his warriors approaching.
Get behind the walls!
But then he notices that one of the warriors is Little Bo, the same one who shot the arrow at him. He then grabs the arrow and puts it between his belt and his side. He then starts to put on his armor. Then he grabs his crown and puts it on his head. A sailor speaks to him. "My prince, what are you doing?"
If I'm going to be king, I must protect my kingdom.
Prince Qasim grabs his sword and rides out with his knights to meet the chief and his warriors. Suddenly, a sailor yells out, "Prince Qasim, your father has arrived!" Prince Qasim turns and looks towards the sailor and beyond, and sees his father staring at him. Now he knows he must prove to himself and to his father that he is ready to be king. Suddenly he notices Little Bo coming out alone and holding up his bow and arrow.
"You have come to steal our food. For this, I will fight to save my father's land."
The chief, surprised at Little Bo's actions, looks on. He is concerned, but waits to see what Little Bo will do next. Suddenly, one of Prince Qasim's knights takes out his sword and goes forward towards Little Bo. At the same time, a warrior grabs his spear and rushes towards the knight. But to everyone's surprise, Little Bo holds out his hand and tells the warrior to stop. At that same moment, Prince Qasim tells his knight to do the same. For a moment, everyone stood still and waited to see what would happen. Prince Qasim then comes forth, approaching Little Bo.
You are a brave little warrior. I honor you.
Prince Qasim then reaches into his belt and pulls out the arrow that Little Bo had shot at him earlier and gives it back to him.
I believe this belongs to you.
Little Bo then reaches out and grabs the arrow. He is very surprised to have his arrow back with him. He then realizes that the little prince had kept the arrow that he had shot at him earlier.
"You are a noble prince. You have given back what belongs to me. For this, I will remember you. Why have you come to my land and taken the food?"
We had no idea that anyone had lived here, but there is a great problem in my kingdom. A strange fungus has destroyed our farms. We do not have enough food for everyone.
I will allow you to stay and take what you need, but only from the farm you have made.
You are a true friend. On this day, I shall not forget our friendship. I shall always be grateful for this. Bring your father and your people here on this ground, and I will do the same. For on this day, we shall eat together.
Later, Prince Chasm and Little Bow come together with both of their people and sit down together to have their feast. Alongside Prince Chasm stands his father, the king, with Little Bow's father, the chief. Little Bow then approaches Prince Chasm and takes out the same arrow which he got back from the prince and breaks it in half.
I will keep one half for me and the other for you. It shall be a symbol of our friendship.
It will be a sign of friendship for both our people forever.
Prince Chasm then sits down with his father, Little Bow, and his father, the great chief, and all give thanks to the Lord. My son, you have shown me what a true king is. On this day, you have made me a very proud king. I shall never forget this day. You have shown great wisdom and courage. Your wisdom has taught me what it is to be a great chief. You will be a great chief one day. Yes, my son, I am very proud of you.